Attention, Jake Paul. Kicked me in the chest there. Have a little bite. Very good. Jake Paul, I'm calling you out. This is for you. Woo! Ain't no reason why a prairie dog should be this chonky in the wild. Don't step on him. What's up, proud baby boomers? It's me, Uncle Farmer Dad Ben. Today, I have a very exciting thing for you. It's a creature feature. This is little Big Ounce. We got him from a pet shop that's going out of business. They had about 7 of these little guys in a tiny, tiny little cage. They'd been in there for at least a year. And today we're going to be taking this prairie dog out for a walk for the first time into its natural habitat. Come on in. And today we're going to be doing a double creature feature. That's right, a double creature feature. We're going to be doing it on the prairie dog, and we're going to be doing it on Tank, who's on our board of directors here at the Urban Rescue Ranch. But yes, guys, this is Big Ounce. He is our prairie dog here. He's an educational ambassador here at the Urban Rescue Ranch. Prairie dogs are amazing little creatures, and it's an absolute joy of mine to be able to bring this creature feature to you guys today. Check out this adorable little man. It is an absolute joy and a privilege of mine to be able to bring you guys a creature feature on the prairie dog today. It's also an absolute joy to be able to do a creature feature on Tank today. I've been getting a lot of comments from you guys on asking for me to do a creature feature on Tank, so here we are. This is Tank. Hey, it's me, editing Tank. This is the field behind our property, you guys. It's just this for miles and miles. Now, I don't own this property, but it is owned by a large company that's based out of a different state. And there certainly aren't any no trespassing signs here, so it's a perfect place for me to walk my prairie dog on a cool Saturday evening. But all right, guys, let's get into it. This is a creature feature. My mom said I have to do these so I can make educational content for you guys. Boring, but we're gonna get into it. I believe this is the black-tailed prairie dog, name of Cyanomys ludovicianus. I had that memorized. It's very important that we let this little man get exercise, because where he used to be, he was basically overfed and undernourished. Ain't no reason why a prairie dog should be this chonky in the wild. That's because he's lived the majority of his life in a tiny little 2-foot by 2-foot cage. In order to get some good footage for you guys, I'm going to take Big Ounce out to the middle of this big field here behind the property. Now, I want to be sure not to stress out Big Ounce too much, because this is a big shock to him. Prior to today, Big Ounce hasn't seen this much space in his entire life. But it's interesting that he still comes back to old Uncle Ben to nibble on his boots. Look at that adorable little paw. Isn't this man handsome? Yay, it's me, editing Ben. And yes, he is very handsome. But did you know, regular Ben, that their entire mating season is just an hour long? That's right. Unlike most rodents, these guys actually only mate just once a year, and it's an early winter, and the females will go into estrus for just an hour. And their litters are only 3 to 8 pups. Usually only half of those survive in the first year. And you might be thinking, whoa, Uncle Ben, that's crazy, but are you just reading all these facts off Google while you're voicing over B-roll footage? Yes. Now maybe I could say something about how prairie dogs used to be everywhere all over Texas and across the rest of America. They did. And they talk about how we made them extinct because of our cringe behavior. Correct. There's some great shots. Look at this little man work it. Look at this adorable little baby boy. He's doing a great job for the camera. This boy was built to be on TV. That's right, you guys. Their historical range has shrunk by about 95%. They used to be all over North America, hundreds of millions of them. But as we settled, we started to realize that their holes were killing our horses and our cows, etc., etc., so we started just kind of killing them all. And because of that, and of course the bubonic plague in the late 1800s, these guys were completely decimated to only 5% of their original population. It's important that I let this guy do a lot of exercise because of how morbidly obese he is. Didn't ask, don't care, plus you're a boomer. But if you notice, if you're from the Northeast, they do look a lot like groundhogs. And although they look much like them and they fill the same kind of biological niche, they're actually more closely related to ground squirrels. And you can learn a lot about ground squirrels by going and watching iDubbbz's famous Save the Squirrels initiative. It's also very important to let him dig in some natural soil. Up until now, he's never had the ability to dig in the wild. Just look at this little hole he made. Prairie dogs do dig for a variety of reasons, but it's mainly to create burrows where they can live and have their babies and families. And because they are highly social, they live in large colonies or towns, which are collections of prairie dog families that can span hundreds of acres. The largest of these prairie dog towns ever recorded was actually in Texas, and it had 400 million prairie dogs, and it spanned over 25,000 square miles. This is also why, for Big Ounce here, who spent the majority of his life in a situation like this, having space where he can run around like this is so important, and why every prairie dog owner should have a tank.
No. Oh no! Don't break my socks.
The tank and the prairie dog have evolved together in what's called a symbiotic relationship over the last several millennia. In exchange for pets, food, shelter, and scratches, the prairie dog provides serotonin for the tank. And although this prairie dog was essentially neglected and overfed, he still loves physical touch and affection from people. And through simply spending plenty of time with him and hand feeding him, this prairie dog has become a friend to most humans. These creatures have what's called a symbiotic relationship. However, this symbiotic relationship can ultimately be detrimental to both of the species because both of them need to copulate in underground holes or burrows. Domestication in this case, of course, removes the need for the animals to burrow. And this, of course, makes breeding with both species very difficult in a captive setting. But let's get back to the facts. Inside their underground burrows, they have designated areas for nurseries, sleeping, toilets, and sometimes they store food in certain areas. And they even build tiny little holes for ventilation, emergency exits, and even listening posts. When prairie dogs come back into their burrows, they greet each other with a little kiss. And because these chubby little potato rats all look the same, these kisses help them determine if they're in the same family group. If they are, they'll hug each other and go about their day. If they're not, they'll chase each other and fight until they get the interloper out of the area. Now imagine having to lock tongues with somebody to find out whether or not they're your sibling or what. This is how the prairie dog do. And I'm afraid we still don't know much about the social and courting habits of the tank. But multiple research studies have found that prairie dogs have a more complex means of communication than that of chimpanzees and dolphins. Within these tiny little yip-yaps that I hear at 2 a.m. in my living room, these prairie dogs can even embed information about the predator's size, coat color, direction, and speed in a single bark. Tank, get over here. Just give him a little hug. Come on, man. Just give him a hug. Not often introduced naturally in the wild, tanks and kangaroos have a natural disdain for each other. This is why they should never be kept in the same habitat.
I don't actually make noises like that, people.
Hey, if you're new to the channel, this is our young little man named DaBaby. He's a little orphan that we rescued from a meat and hunting farm here in Texas. People pay about $6,000 to hunt kangaroos out here. It's very cringe. In addition to being our adorable little educational ambassador boy and my son, I'm going to be training DaBaby as he gets larger and bigger to fight Jake Paul in the ring. This will be a long and painful journey, but because of my adorable livestock guardian and kangaroo training dog, DaBaby should be able to fight Jake Paul proficiently by the year 2023. And because of this, I love him very much and he loves me right back, and that's why I've committed to spending at least 20 to 30 minutes every day simply training and fighting with him on a regular basis. Kicked me in the chest there. And of course, I'm going to have to do quite a bit of training as well, because this will be a lot more scary when he's 200 pounds and has bigger muscles than me. Did you know that the leading cause of death among juvenile prairie dogs is being eaten by their ants? Much like these rhea here, while they are predominantly vegetarian, eating the grass and occasional thistle, prickly pear cactus, and some bison manure, lactating females will regularly seek out and cannibalize their sisters' pups. You know, I don't know why I even said that. Rhea aren't like that at all. In fact, Kevin and Kyle work together to court Karen, and they don't even compete. They actually raise the chicks together. It's amazing. But yeah, guys, prairie dog cannibalism is the leading cause of mortality among pups, and 39% of the babies are killed by their ants. So that occurs among other species of ground squirrels, but not nearly as much as it is in the prairie dog. I'll also add that prairie dogs are pretty fierce and bold, especially when dealing with canines. And much like how Morgan, our goose here, treats Poppy, our possum, and other little raccoons that come onto the property, she doesn't care much for this adorable little prairie dog. And although our livestock guardian dogs seem to express interest in this adorable little man, I've already introduced them all, and they seem to have a mutual respect and understanding. Pretty great creature feature, huh, guys? What do you think? And now Kevin is trying to attack me when I'm holding my favorite son. Yes, this is my favorite son now. His name is Big Ounce. Kevin, if you even try to get near me with... DaBaby can attack me whenever I'm holding my son, but Kevin can't. I don't like that. The only person that's allowed to attack me when I'm holding my favorite son is DaBaby. Oh, little bite on the finger there. Queen, you better be friendly with him. Be friendly. It's funny how bold he is. He's such a bold little man walking up to Queen like that. But there it is, you guys. Thanks so much for watching my video. I'm gonna have to dive into this thicket to get this little man back, but that's okay, because he's not going anywhere due to his morbid obesity. Oh, never mind. Here he comes. Here he comes. I guess we can keep filming. But what a wonderful day for my son, Big Ounce, who now has the experience of running through a field, which is an experience that frankly no pet prairie dogs ever get to achieve. He fits in very well here, and he's making a lot of friends. Oop, there he goes. Goodbye, little man. And the baby seems to really have a little thing for Big Ounce. He really likes this little man. Matter of fact, all these animals do. They're all chasing after him. The baby seems to be the most interested in him, though. But I can't help but wonder why. Oh, all right, Kevin. Why not have a little bite? Very good. Very good. All right, now back up, sir. Goodbye. Hey, don't step on him. Oh. But as you can see, Morgan and Queen are best friends, and Morgan follows her everywhere around the property now. But that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for watching my video. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you in the next... Oh, I almost forgot to tell...